will stand and proclaim. And when heartache doesn't say the same, we will stand and proclaim. And when heartache doesn't say the same, we will stand and proclaim. And whatever doesn't say the same, we will stand and proclaim.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour, Power to the People, talking about the power of the people of Atlantic City, a platform for people to discuss ideas of the community, creating an all-inclusive environment where people of Atlantic City can actively participate in the economic revitalization of Atlantic City's future. This forum will focus on black and white capitalism, working together to create red, white, and blue capitalism. Every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. We have gospel.com. The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Atlantic City, and God bless America. Welcome to WEHA Gospel 88.7 FM, spreading the gospel one song at a time with the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. And we have Lisa Diane Hall in here running things as a technician. And we got Steph giving her some hand signals and telling her like they do in the movies. She's in cut and doing some other movie stuff. But welcome everybody. We are in our mask mode, glove mode, and we are in the mode to defeat the COVID pandemic, and we're going to defeat this Vote No pandemic. And we have joining us tonight the number one doctor of defeating this Vote No, and I'm going to introduce him in 1 second, but first I have to ask everybody, please, WEHA is the greatest radio station in Atlantic City. Black-owned, supporting the community, grassroots focused, and they have a program where you can go on WEHA's website and sign up for a subscription of $8 per month. It comes with less than $100 a year. But if you come on board and write a check or do use your credit card and help keep WEHA mobilized and active, this is the people's station. So please, we asking everybody, particularly during this emergency recovery effort, to support WEHA, write those checks, not a lot, but they do a lot for the community. So with that said, first commercial, I want to introduce our leadership, our primary leadership in this Vote No campaign, because he has some incredible updates for us. Former president of Atlantic City Council, Mr. Craig Calloway. Welcome again, Mr. Calloway, for our third session.
Yes, thank you, Brother Whitehead. And again, I'd like to just lead off with a little short prayer, and we beg the Creator that has created everything that exists, and there is no power except with the Creator. And we beg for the Creator to protect us, protect our community, protect humanity from this plague. Amen. So Amen. With that, now we can move on.
So yes, sir. So when we last left the last show, you were giving us some important updates about the Vote No campaign against this referendum.
Yes.
Some of the things going on with the governor, some of the things going on with the judge. So why don't you just kick it off and kind of lay it out where we're talking about, and then dive into some of the new developments.
Okay, there was a hearing this afternoon with Judge Julio Mendez and our attorney, who's representing the Atlantic City Democratic Committee, who has challenged the state with their position about the not wanting to count those 1,200 or so votes that have been received at the Board of Elections office. So there was a hearing, and Judge Mendez, one good thing, we're going to start off with the good position, is that Judge Mendez said that he was not supportive of any votes not being counted.
Bravo.
He's in support of those approximately 1,200 or so votes that are in possession of the Board of Elections. That all of those votes will not be in jeopardy of being in any way, shape, or form removed.
Wow.
Which is fantastic, and that means he's shown that he's being consistent.
Yes, sir.
Because Judge Mendez, and we called him on that to remind him of his previous positions, is that all votes should count and should be protected. So
Yes,
he's been consistent on that part.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bob McDevitt's people, the yes people, the money people,
Right.
the power grabbing people,
Right.
they were making an argument that yes, all of those votes that were cast, which is approximately like I said, around 1,200, should be discarded, shouldn't count, and they made that position. And of course, our attorney Sam Lashman, he fought that vociferously, and again, the judge's position is what he stated, but the half-hearted position of the Murphy administration wasn't so vociferously and clear as to what their position was. They came up with this kind of vague position. Oh, well, our position is that there is a procedure in place to deal with that, rather than just saying, no, we agree with the judge, we agree with Mr. Lashman, those votes, but they didn't take that position. So as I said before, very suspect of the position of the governor and his administration has not been one on the side of the people, and especially the people of the city of Atlantic City, who are in a battle of their political lives, and that the governor is taking this half-hearted position, or basically, in some cases, even supporting the position of the yes people.
So what do you think is going on with that? What do you think that's all about?
As I said before, I'm very suspicious, only because of not of what Governor Murphy has said, but what he has done. And what he has done is clearly very powerful against, and he has made it clear that he is not in the corner of the people of the city of Atlantic City when it comes to this change of government referendum. So that's what it is, and I don't care what anybody says. I go by what the actions of people, and particularly the actions of Governor Murphy, is crystal clear that he is not there to protect the sacred rights and the interests of the people of the city of Atlantic City, and that is very disturbing. And so therefore, I will not ever be supporting him. And again, as I said before, our Democrat elected state assembly people, they are also made it clear, not with their words, because their words are completely contradictory of what their actions are. And their actions is one of silence.
Oh my God.
Which is really betrayal of the people who literally, from the city of Atlantic City, made them winners after they were losers. Atlantic City saved the day for Armando and Mazzeo. Crystal clear. And this is what we get in return. We get, they spit it in our face. That's their way of saying thank you. So we will, when the time comes, we will get our opportunity to throw it back in their face. So just make that clear. So here we are.
So you gave us some good news now. The good
There's some good news now. Now here's the other part. This is the bad part.
Yes, sir.
The governor, behind the scenes, didn't make it public as he did his announcement when he announced his executive order. He did this behind the scenes with his Secretary of State and his Commissioner of Elections. The state statute is clear. 45 days before an election, all requests to vote by mails should be mailed out 45 days prior to the election. That 45 day would have started March the 28th. So he, behind the scenes, in the cloak of darkness, took away 30 days of voting
Wow.
from the people of the city of Atlantic City. We went from having 45 days to having 15 days. So our lawyer, Sam Lashman, argued, asked the judge, well, give us the time back on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
The judge, Mendez, again, his inconsistencies,
Mm-hmm.
he was consistent on one part, but on this part, he was inconsistent.
Yes.
He said the state statute says you only get 48 hours. Correct. That's correct. That's the state statute. You get 48 hours after that Tuesday, which means Thursday, if your ballot is postmarked,
Mm-hmm.
then it counts.
Mm-hmm.
And he said state statute.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Lashman says, well, it's state statute about the 45 days. So let's be consistent.
Right. Right.
You're hollering 48 hours on the back end,
Right.
and then you take 30 days of voting away from the people of Atlantic City,
Oh my God.
the most important election of the city's existence.
Right.
You take that away. You only give them 15 days for approximately 20,000 plus people to vote.
Right.
With the problem with the mail and with this COVID-19, with
Yes.
this pandemic,
Yes.
and you take away 30 and don't give anything back. And then you stand behind and say that's state statute. But you ignore the 45 day, which is clearly state statute.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be continuing to argue that. But we know that the state is going to argue against giving the people of Atlantic City 30 more days, because then they, of course, they will be consistent with supporting the yes vote, because that's who they are with. It is crystal clear. Phil Murphy has cut a deal with the people who want to take the rights of the people of Atlantic City
Wow.
away and grab what little bit of power there is left of Atlantic City.
Wow.
And that's clear. Again, as I said, do not go by what politicians say. Go by what they do.
Yes, sir.
And Murphy has made it clear his actions are so much more louder than his words and clearer than his words. So that's where we are. So,
Are you still open to the governor doing the right thing? Are you
No.
still? No.
no,
It's
he's
still
not going to
closed.
do the right thing.
Got you.
He's not.
Got you.
He's had, again, the whole thing is if he was going to do the right thing,
It'd have been done.
it would have been done. If we're all on the same page, why did we have to go to court?
And you hear Ron Rice, the senator, having
They ignored Ron Rice.
Right.
Ron Rice Senator Rice made a plea.
Yeah.
Made it clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't ambiguous. It was clear as to
Very clear.
why his position and why he took that position.
Right.
And what did they do? It fell on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
The governor still did not move, not one iota, on his position
Mm-hmm.
on when it came to this referendum and the importance of the sacredity of how sacred the votes are and should never be in any way, shape, or form jeopardized.
Well, you know, before you start to tell us about the next dates when the petition, the ballots are coming in the mail, etc., I want to ask Derek Brock. Brock, do you have any questions for Chairman Callaway regarding this process and what's been going on with this whole vote no, the changes, etc.? You have any questions for Mr. Callaway?
Well, first of all, I just want to send our thoughts and prayers to the people who have lost family members and
Yes.
people throughout this coronavirus. This is a tragic time that we're dealing with right now in America. But I'm actually just following along. You know, I just got in and I'm listening, and Brother Callaway always, as he always is right on top of it. So it's
Can you
just,
imagine where we would be if he didn't
I'm just lost for words listening
jump in
to
here and
this.
start leading this effort against the vote no and all this other stuff happening?
Absolutely.
Because he's been engaged on this front from January or
And-
before that.
And then there hasn't nobody else picked up the charge yet.
Nobody
yet.
else.
Yeah.
Okay, and we were blessed enough to work with him. But just think of where we would be right now if we didn't have a Craig Callaway and our team working on this thing.
Yes, we
and
would
then
work
this
together.
virus comes up, and you wouldn't be
Right.
able to get anything done.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Brother White, I'm extremely grateful for you
God
and,
bless you.
and Brother Derek,
Yes, sir.
who has allowed us to have this platform where we can inform and enlighten people as to what is really going on, and that is extremely important.
That's true.
So it's just not me. It has been this
Collective.
group
Yes, sir.
together
Yes, sir.
who has been able to, bring these points out as to exactly what's going on, and I am grateful for that because I want the people of Atlantic City to know exactly what is going on, how we can defeat this effort, this political pandemic
Yes.
that is being inflicted
Political
on us at the
pandemic.
same time that we have this virus,
Yes.
this virus that is killing people, making people sick. So it's ironic that we have two pandemics.
Wow.
One is attacking our literally physical lives, and the other one is literally attacking our political existence.
Wow.
And we have to do them simultaneously, and we will overcome them.
And Derek, I don't know, before you came in, I don't know if you heard that Mr. Calloway said the decision from the judge was moving in the right direction.
Count the votes.
Yeah, about to vote, to count the votes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
So if we can get back to that right quick, because
Sure, Please
we
do.
had stated before,
Yes, sir.
I want everybody to understand, and I don't want people to get confused about this date, this artificial date of May the 12th.
Okay.
Because traditionally, May 12th would have been the vote day. That's the day that people would go to the polls and they would cast their vote, and that became their election day. But people have to change their whole mindset about May 12th because that is not election day.
Right.
That is the last day that you can have your vote by mail sent in and for it to be counted. So election day, literally for everybody who lives in the city of Atlantic City, when they get one of these things here in the mail, that is your election day.
That day you come to
That
the mail.
day, if this ballot comes in the mail, this is the day of your personal election.
Okay, well that's a good point you're bringing up. Now that's something I'm concerned about. When are these ballots
Okay.
going to be mailed out?
As of right now, the position of the state is that they are going to start sending these vote by mails out on April the 24th.
This month.
Which is a Friday. Which means, and the other thing that is important, that they're all not coming from Mays Landing to Belmar and then back to Atlantic City. They are subbing out. They are farming out to different entities to print these out and send them up from North Jersey all the way to Atlantic City, because the Atlantic County Clerk's Office cannot handle the volume, the 20-something thousand vote by mails. They can't handle and process it because they only have a limited amount of staff.
That's interesting because that to me sounds like a strategy from the opposition to it, in my opinion, because knowing that time is an issue, and then working from an entity that's from North Jersey, and then the governor, having seemingly a relationship, it just seems like it's all
Absolutely
tied in together to me.
Miss Sheila Tolbert, Harvey asked, when is the cutoff date for vote by mail?
The cutoff date will be 7 days before the election. This is interesting, right?
Wow.
So actually, we're really not even getting 15 days.
Right.
7 days before the election, which will be Tuesday, May 5th. I'm sorry. Tuesday, May 5th will be the last day that the clerk will send people who request vote by mail.
Right.
That's the cutoff date. That's the state statute. And the other part of the state statute, which we still don't know yet, from Wednesday until Monday at 3 o'clock, it's the messenger ballot kicks in.
Okay, let me just get back to this now. So the actual date to have your mail-in ballot in.
Not in. There's two. The date that the last date that the clerk will be allowed to mail say for when I say that a request, if you register to vote, and this is going to happen. People can register to vote before the cutoff date of the when they mail they mail. So if you register to vote, say the 21st of April, which is the date. I mean, I'm sorry, I think it's the 25th of April. You can register to vote. So now you're not on the rolls. So then now what you have to do, you have to reach out to the county clerk and say, I just registered to vote. Would you please send me a vote by mail? And then that date you only have until May 5th. They stop mailing them from May 5th.
Okay.
So they're going to start mailing them
On the 24th.
24th of April,
Right.
and then they're going to stop mailing them May 5th.
Miss Sheila said, okay. See, that was helpful to her.
So basically, we're saying we got to have them in at the latest.
The latest you can, if you really want to take chances, I wouldn't suggest.
Okay, I know, but our people like to bring.
Yeah, some people can mail them in. The latest probably would be election day, the end of election day, which is May 12th.
Okay.
But you're really shooting craps with your vote
Right.
because it may not make it
Right.
in those 2 days period.
That's
Right.
right.
So that's why I'm telling people,
Right.
don't take May 12th out of your mind.
Yeah, just get it done.
When this ballot comes to your home,
Fill it out.
fill it out
Get
and
it in the mail.
mail it in as soon as possible.
And they
ASAP.
don't need no stamp or anything, right?
It is everything is prepaid.
So
That
they
is
don't even
another
have to
point
pay
that's
pay
extremely
anything.
important. You don't have to put a stamp on it. It will have a prepaid postage inside.
So that makes it
So
really easy.
I'm going to show this picture of this so you'll know. This is it's called the outer envelope, right? And right here where it says place stamp here, that won't be there. It will be a prepaid postage, already paid. You don't have to pay it. Then after you voted, you put everything, the actual ballot.
Got two cameras.
Okay. All right.
We work it from both angles.
You'll get the actual ballot after you voted. You voted no, of course.
And that's where you put the little dot, no.
The dot right here. Color it in. And it doesn't have to be, it could be blue or black, but just color it in. Right there where it says no.
You got right in that circle.
Right there where it says no.
Right.
And then you put it in here. And of course you seal it. And then you put your information. You print your voter's name.
And do not
voter's
tear that
address.
flap off.
Yes. And sign it. And then it tells you here, it says do not detach. But even here again, it tells you again, do not tear off this flap. Because if you tear off this flap, you have disenfranchised yourself.
Wow.
And if I could just interject,
Sure.
there's people who remember we're on radio, so they might not be able to physically see your demonstration, Chairman Calloway. So we want to encourage our listeners, if you'd like to see the actual ballot, go to the WEHA Facebook page where you can actually see Chairman Calloway describing the voter register, the vote by mail. This mask is really annoying. I can't even breathe.
We're saving
Oh,
lives.
my.
We're
You
saving
got a
lives.
new world order.
Oh,
It's the new
boy.
world
Think
order.
of it as
That's a
saving
whole nother
lives.
subject we
It's
need
the
to
new
talk
world
about
order.
is
It's
these
the new
masks.
world order.
People don't want to wear them, but we really need
Sure.
to. But anyway,
Yes.
go to the Facebook page, the WEHA Facebook page, and you can see Chairman Calloway's demonstration as well as the Jimmy Whitehead Facebook page. I just had to
Yeah.
get that in.
And
Thank
I,
you.
And I have to shout out to my wonderful friend Derek Rutledge. He joined us, and Derek is an extraordinary, talented individual who is like the most phenomenal makeup artist in the world.
Okay.
This brother has. I remember the whole time that Michelle Obama was in the White House. For 4 years, he was her makeup artist, going down the White House.
Oh,
every
so
day.
he's good.
He's an incredible guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing some things in Atlantic City in the future to do something with the beauty industry. So I just wanted to give a
Very
shout out
good.
to him.
Thank you.
So keep going, sir.
Again, as I said, I want to make this important because remember I told you when we talked, I was going to make this the focal point to take May 12th out of people's mind
Yes, sir.
because that is not election day.
Yes, sir.
We all right now are going to have a personal election day.
Election day
Is the day when you receive this in the mail,
That's
this right
election
here.
day.
This is election day for James Whitehead,
Emergency.
Derek
Yes.
Brock, Craig Calloway.
Yes.
This is our date, and we all are not going to get them the same day.
Right.
So they may come at different times during that period of between April the 24th and by May 12th.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
And unfortunately, there will be a whole lot of people who are never going to get this ballot.
Why is that?
Because the postal system redlines
Our community.
our community. We don't get
Wow.
mail.
Wow.
We don't get our mail is not treated in the same form and fashion
Yes.
as other people's mail on the Absecon Island.
Mm.
Okay, and this is a proven. This is a fact
Yes.
that our mail is inconsistent and is not treated with the dignity and respect that it should be treated with. And that's why when I was talking before about what can we do to change this.
Yes.
And this is what we can do. Again, our state legislators, our federal legislators, our Congress people, and our U.S. Senators. We need to, the best way to do this is to have the opportunity for the vote for people's vote. Let's put it in a bidding process. Let FedEx, UPS, DEAL, DHS, whatever, whoever,
Sure.
to make sure that this vote gets directly to the voters. And this is what is not happening. And the post office, they have a monopoly because no one else delivers mail except the U.S. Post.
Right.
So they treat us with they don't treat us with the dignity and respect that we should be treated with, and they're not fair and they're not consistent.
Well, this is now. See now this goes back to the way I feel about, because I always say, we know that as a history as African Americans, we have been disenfranchised on so many different levels. But I always also say, because I'm the type of person, I believe that reflection is always a good thing to do. You always got to take a look at yourself. It's easy to sit back and say what everybody else is doing and have done to us, and we know that we've been wrong. But then we have to hold ourselves accountable as well. And sometimes that's like a tough pill to swallow for people, because it's almost like you calling someone's friend to the carpet, or you calling ourselves to the carpet. But in my opinion, we have to call ourselves to the carpet, because the higher we hold each other,
Yes.
ourselves, to me, makes it much more harder for them to do whatever they're doing to us.
That's correct.
So we have to hold ourselves responsible, because as Atlantic City being as prominent as it is in position geographically, demographically, it has everything to make it a good city. But the infrastructure is not together properly. So that's where it comes back down to leadership. So that's where I'm kind of like holding us accountable as citizens and residents and taxpayers, business people. We have kind of dropped the ball by allowing certain things to happen. And if we're going forward with all this voters epidemic or pandemic that we're dealing with, that we have to form a coalition of people that's going to remain concerned, and get more people involved. Because
Right.
this has to kind of stop. It has to stop.
Absolutely, Derek, I agree, and the reason why we're making this argument so strongly and clearly is because this is the way of the future for us being
For
voters,
America.
for America. This is something that that the people, vote more. And I was listening to the governor of Oregon, they have had vote by mail the longest state in the Union of the United States.
Really?
Is Oregon, has been for over 20 years.
Really?
They've been an all vote by mail state. So, one thing Oregon doesn't have that we have in New Jersey, we have a large minority voting block, which Oregon doesn't have. So they're not going to have those challenges with the post office that we have. So that's the reason why it's everything has to be treated uniquely. And people have to understand, this is why I'm saying, in order to get the post office to treat us with dignity and respect, is to take their power away from them, take their monopoly away from them, and that is why I'm saying, let's put it out. Let's farm this out. because we're not the post office is not doing this for free.
Right.
On this poster here, it says 65 cents. Okay, the taxpayers of Atlantic City paid the U.S. Post Office 65 cents to make sure everybody got their ballot in Atlantic City. But as we sit here right now, when these ballots was mailed out in February, when the clerk sent them out, there are hundreds of people in the city of Atlantic City who did not receive their 65 cent paid postage vote.
Wow.
Still, as we're sitting here right now
Right.
on April this is April the 5th or the 6th, whatever.
6, yes, sir.
Still have not received their ballot,
Now let me ask you something now.
and they're not going to receive it.
I remember you saying that, and I agree with you, that this vote by mail is the best way to vote because it's harder to fraud or whatever you want to call it.
Correct.
Freeholder Fitzpatrick joined, you said.
Yes.
About.
And
Yes, thank you.
so my question is how do we as the voters know? Because if this is coming from an unknown source up North Jersey, so to speak, right?
And they will be coming from some places in North Jersey.
Right. And how do we know if every person has even received that and it's not being mailed directly to the clerk's office, pre-stamped or
We won't know.
Right.
The only way we will know, as we have found out, our group of people, is that when we go to the people and they tell us, I didn't get my ballot. Or in some cases, your wife may get the ballot and you won't. Your son may get the ballot and you and your wife won't get it. This is nothing. This is not conjecture. This is not, just blowing this thing up. This is real.
Right.
We do not get our vote by mail consistently.
Let me ask you a question, sir.
That's the
Because I'm
thing.
listening to you talk, right, about this. And you know what they say, that in our community, we have the lowest amount of voter participation.
Correct,
Right.
unfortunately.
Black community. With your knowledge of vote by mail and your family's incredible history with knowing how to do this well, could this be a turning point where we increase the black vote because we teach more black folks how to vote from home, vote by mail?
Right. And that's what we have been doing. And that's the reason why we have been put in this negative light. Because there are special interest people who do not want us to increase the black participation. And we have been doing that. And then, unfortunately, even within the African American, the black community, they have fallen into that same trap. We don't want, these votes. We don't count those votes. It's fraud. No. And what it is, and they have also fallen to this thing that, when some homeless person votes, it erases some people who have a home. So now you're saying, let's go back to the early Constitution when only white male landowners could vote. That's what they're saying.
Right.
And now you got African Americans who are buying this same thing because they don't like who have been enfranchised and are making the difference in the outcome of the elections because it's not someone who they want to support, who they support, who they can curry favor with and get things done.
Right.
So we are a threat to the status quo. And that's the reason why we get attacked. So viciously we get attacked. The vote by mail process, as you said, it has less fraud in it because, first of all, and you know because you went to when you had to sign an application.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they compared your signature to see that it matched.
Right.
And then they gave you a ballot.
Right.
Again, and I'm going to correct this again.
Sure.
The vote by mail, even though we say this is your vote, it's still not a vote. Even though you get it in mail and you vote no and you sign off on it, it still is not a vote. It is not a vote until the Board of Elections, the 4 people at the Board of Elections, they validated, and there's 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. 3 of them have to say, that signature is good. Everything is about it. Then it becomes a vote. It's not a vote until the Board of Elections says it's a vote.
So to the people that are listening, and again, Brother Calloway is explaining it so eloquently, make sure that you sign your signature, you know, close to where you normally sign it. Don't just willy-nilly sign your signature, because that's going to be another way that they're probably used to throw out your vote.
And they do.
So it's very important that when you sign your name, just make sure you sign it the way that you always sign it. That's just my.
And what we're going to
throw
do,
that
we're
out
going to
there.
take a little 30-second pause for the calls. And when we come back, I'm going to give you guys the number. The number you can call in here is 609-641-8870. If you have a question for Mr. Craig Calloway, hello, good evening, President George Tibbet. If you have a question for Chairman Calloway about this process, I don't care how little the detail is or how big the detail is, ask the questions now, because we want to make sure that we kill this pandemic, this political pandemic, this virus of a referendum to take away our power from the people. So again, that number is 609-641-8870. We're going to take a 30-second break, and when we come back, please call in if you have any questions for Mr. Calloway. All right, let's go and do a little bit of that. Ain't no stopping us now.
Yes.
This is good.
Yes.
See,
People got to understand.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got the groove. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe, and if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Wow. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing
The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people. Talking about the power of the people of Atlantic City. A platform for people to discuss ideas of the community. Creating an all-inclusive environment where people of Atlantic City can actively participate in the economic revitalization of Atlantic City's future. This forum will focus on black and white capitalism, working together to create red, white, and blue capitalism. Every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. WeHaveGospel.com. The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Atlantic City and America, and Derek Rutledge and all my other wonderful friends who are joining us for this great show with Chairman Craig Calloway. And Craig Calloway, we're going to jump back into this. We're going to take some phone calls. If you have a question you have for the chairman, please dial in to 609-641-8870 and hit option 1. I forgot to mention that. If you call in, 609-641-8870, option 1, WEHA, and we want everybody to write checks to support WEHA, the greatest radio station in Atlantic City, in America, that's supporting the people. So, Chairman Calloway, let's jump back into this. You want to start again with, a lot of folks are very interested in knowing the process. And any information you would like to share, let's just
Two
jump right into
quick
it.
points again.
Yes, sir.
As I told the listening audience before, it's called the security envelope with the flap on it. And to the Miss Talbot who says she has elderly parents and other people who have elderly parents and grandparents, you can assist them. You can assist them in filling this out, and you can also assist them in voting.
Very important.
And only thing you have to do at the bottom here, it tells you, you have to give the information of the person who assisted. And it can be a family member. Of course, it's always preferred for it to be a family member, or it can be some other eligible voter can assist a voter in casting their franchise. But the most important part is secrecy. Because if you break that secrecy, then you've broken the law. So you can help them if they are elderly. And also, as Brother Brock was talking about signing your name, it is extremely important now that this is going to be an all vote-in mail. We need to update as many people as possible need to update the signatures. Because now, before you just go to the poll and you can just sign it whatever way you want it, and no one really looked at it, and you can go in and cast your vote. It's not like that now.
Right.
Because when you sign your name, and there's going to be 4 people who are going to determine whether or not your vote just becomes a vote, or it becomes a vote that's not going to be counted.
Andrew Fields joined us.
You will then receive what is called a Dear John voter letter from the Board of Elections telling you, the voter, yes, you received your ballot. Yes, you voted and you sent it back in. But unfortunately, your signature didn't match. So
really?
Therefore, your vote did not count.
Wow.
So that's why we have to do our due diligence, and we really, to be honest, we don't have enough time for everyone to update their signatures.
Yeah.
And we, as we do our 24/7, 365-day voter registration drive, and that's the way it has to be. You just can't wait during the election cycle. All throughout the year, you have to be vigilant and do your due diligence to make sure that everybody updates their signature.
That's a great point there.
Because the way you sign your name may be different. And unfortunately, those 4 people who are looking at your signature, they are not handwriting experts.
Right.
But it is very subjective. But usually they pretty much have it right. But unfortunately, sometimes they have it wrong. And if one person is disenfranchised, then everybody who has voted has been disenfranchised. So that's extremely important. So that's why we have to do that. But remember, you can help someone if they have lost their vision because maybe they had a stroke, they can't sign anymore, it becomes a mark or X or something like of that nature, then we have to change that person's signature.
Can you help more than one person?
Yes, you can. You can help. It's unlimited amount of people that you can help.
Okay. You got a little comment here from Mr. Hernandez. He said, there is a strong majority of Puerto Rican brothers from Atlantic City. They're born and raised that need this information, and they are bilingual like myself, that was raised with these corrupt politicians. We know the truth, and we stand with the word truth, but we need to educate ourselves, and Brother Calloway is one of the strong advocates of the part of Atlantic City's community with the blacks and Latinos that know Mr. Calloway. He always told us the truth about these corrupt politicians, judges, etc.
Yes, and I really would strongly like for Sister Celeste Fernandez and other Latinos in Atlantic City and Atlantic County area to, if we could get together so they could interpret what I'm saying in English and put it in Spanish, so the Spanish brothers and sisters can understand what is going on, and to make sure that we tie every loose end, to make sure that no one has any excuse to send us that Dear John voting letter telling you that unfortunately your vote didn't count. You did, even though you did everything right and you know you signed it.
Right.
No one else signed it but you. But subjectively, there were 3 people who looked at that and said, no, that signature doesn't look right. Even though they look at your history of signing and, recent, and they looked at it and they decided, no, that signature doesn't count. And they just, unfortunately, you're disenfranchised. So that's why what we need to do as our group continues to do, our family and our group of folks who electioneer, not just during the election cycle, but throughout the year, we encourage people, we sit down and educate people, and we get people to register to vote, and even our young people. The law is when you can register to vote when you're 17 years old. And then on your 18th birthday, then you will be eligible to vote. So we try to educate and empower from 17 all the way up to 117.
Okay, we have Ashley Wiseman. She has a question. Can we collect ballots?
Yes, we can collect ballots. The statute is that you can be a bearer of on 3. So you can bear in, you can collect 3 ballots and turn them in. That's the statute.
Okay, now let me ask you a quick question about that. Now, if you take the 3, can you go back and get another 3?
No.
So
if you take more than 3, unfortunately, you'll disenfranchise that 4th person.
Got you.
So we don't want to do that.
So each individual can only take 3.
Can take 3. Can bear in 3 ballots.
Andrew Field said, "Thank you for keeping us informed." And Celeste Fernandez said, "Yes, the message in Spanish is a must."
I would love to work with my sister
Inshallah.
to help her educate and empower this large and strong and vibrant Latino community in Atlantic County.
Yes.
And it's extremely important because if we would have done that and we really didn't have time to focus on that, she would be a freeholder right now.
Sure.
But we don't want her to fall short
Right.
as she did last time.
Not this
So
time.
we want to do everything that we can to help her overcome because the votes are there. People can say what they want. Atlantic County, even though it's dominated by the Republicans, and it's only dominated by the Republicans because the Democrats don't vote the way that they should. The Republicans vote rain, snow, or shine. They go out and vote. And that's the spirit that we have to get. And the reason why, as we said, vote by mail is extremely important. And this is when I was listening to the governor of Oregon, she made an extremely important point. And that is the states that have all mail-in ballots, the Democrats dominate because more people participate.
Right.
And that is a proven fact.
Right.
More people participate, and when it's an all vote by mail system to vote, and that's the reason why Donald Trump said he's against all mail-in ballots.
Did he?
Because he's smart enough to understand.
Wow. He can't rig the system.
Yeah, he has other challenges, but he knows that if it's an all mail-in vote, more people vote, and when more people vote, the better it is for the majority of the people.
You know, I think I see what's happening in the Democratic Party in Atlantic City too. I think I see a growth. I think I see a unity surgence happening.
Yes.
And I think with Gwen as the new chairman of the Democratic Party, I think you're going to see a lot of new young Democrats getting activated by our participation right now in your leadership.
Yes.
So bravo. I think the Democratic Party in Atlantic City is on the rise.
Yes.
And you're going to see a historic turnout of vote by mail. Because Ms. Talbot said, thank you. She said, this is it. Great information, Chairman Callaway. It's greatly appreciated. I will assist with many as possible during the process.
That's correct. And that's what
she
we
learned
need.
from you that she can help other people
That's
do
correct.
this.
That's
education.
Correct. And you also you would be surprised at the amount of people whose votes are thrown out because they tore the flap off.
Wow.
They didn't sign their name.
Oh my God. Simple things.
They didn't seal it. And they just put it in there.
Show everybody the flap again, sir. Go through the process again.
All right, here we go.
Folks that just joined us.
You get the three
First of
things
all,
in the mail.
they're going to start getting them in the mail starting,
they're going to send them off April the 24th.
So after the April 24th, people should start looking for
Well,
this.
they should start looking for this.
For
Okay,
that.
this.
Yes, sir.
And then inside of this, it is. Let me take the.
Can my folks
the
over
vote
here
out.
get some love, Brother Calloway?
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I forgot about
we got a
my
whole
brother to the
family
right.
over here.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry, bro. All right, you'll get
You know.
these 3 things that'll come inside this big envelope, and this is the.
I'm
You know,
trying
the
to
3
get you
things.
guys some
Sure.
love on
So,
this side.
this is it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to make sure you fill this out, really. Before you do anything, fill this out, print your name, your address, your municipality, which is Atlantic City in this case, and then sign your name the way you normally sign your name.
Yes, sir.
And then after you do that, then you take the other piece, which is the vote no ballot.
That's the ballot. That's the
At the
virus.
top, it
That's
says-
the virus.
Right. It says right here, no. Color it in. Let me move my finger out the way. Color that no in. No. Color it in. Fold it up. Put it in this security envelope that has a flap on it.
Do not tear the flap.
It says,
off.
do not tear this off.
Right.
Don't tear it off. Seal it. After you seal it, then put it in the outer envelope. Put it in here. And in this case, there's going to be a place stamp here. That's not going to be there. It's going to be postage prepaid.
Let me ask you another quick question since we're getting people on here too. Now, can somebody call me on the phone and be like, "Hey, Derek, I saw you guys on the radio and I'm filling out my ballot. Can you tell me what I need to do?"
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, they can ask you over the phone.
Absolutely. They have a right. If someone wants to share their secrecy with you, that's their right to do so.
Okay.
No one has the right to say, who am I voting for? People tell me this a lot. Who are we supporting, Callaway? And I'll tell them we're supporting this one, this one, this one, and this one.
Right. Right.
And I'm not shy about it, and I
Right.
tell hundreds of people.
Sure. Sure.
I tell hundreds of people.
Sure.
I instruct hundreds of people.
Sure.
If they ask me,
they ask.
I'm going to give them,
Right.
I'm going to answer them.
Sure.
I'm not going to say, oh, I can't tell. Yes, I am going to tell you.
Right.
And I'm going to be telling hundreds and hundreds, I already told
Sure.
hundreds and hundreds of people
Sure.
to vote no. And I'm
Absolutely.
going to tell thousands of more
So
to
all
vote
this,
no.
so all those rumors, all these years, you guys were breaking legs and hitting people over the head with hammers and making them vote. That was all a rumor.
Well, this doesn't even make sense. When you think about it, right? If you're going to trick someone or hurt someone,
Right.
holler at someone or whatever, you think you're going to come back to them the next time and they're going to help, they're
Exactly.
going to be friendly with you?
No, the,
So that doesn't
community
make
loves
sense.
you. The community,
It
Atlantic
just
City
doesn't make
loves you.
sense. That's
You
misinformation.
are a
That's
godfather of
nonsense.
Atlantic City. Yeah. Atlantic City loves
But
you.
yes, you can help as many people as you want. You can do it by FaceTiming them.
Sure.
You can use your FaceTime. Listen, this is your ballot. I got it. All right, let's FaceTime this thing. All right, show it to me. And then they show it. Show them. Print your name, your address, your municipality, and take your time and sign it the way you usually sign.
Okay, so whoever's watching today is watching this live.
And then vote no.
You can go back and look at this show as with Lisa Diane Hall. How did they get back on us again?
They can see the visual on our Facebook Live page, which is on WEHA 88.7 100.3. We have gospel. That is our Facebook page. And you will be able to see Chairman Callaway exactly how he is doing the ballot. It's very important because if you mess the ballot up, you can very well
Disenfranchise yourself.
disenfranchise yourself. And it's very, very important because a lot of people are not familiar with voting by mail. So that's why we keep going over this, and we have the visual. So for all of those who are listening on the radio, tune into our Facebook page, and you can actually see the live demo on Facebook. Chairman Callaway is going to go over it again. It's very important.
Let me say this one last thing.
Sure.
Because we have this new medium of communication.
Yes, sir.
And it's called Facebook or whatever. Listen, and I know the people have Facebook parties for this. Let's have a Facebook party when you get your ballots.
I was
And
just gonna
everybody
say,
come in
that's-
and they
Great
join
idea.
in. And everybody
But
come
that-
together.
but that was
And
gonna-
then we'll say, okay, this is how you do it.
Right.
That's what was going to be my
This
suggestion.
is how you do it. We need to do it.
Because that's how we can get everybody
just
involved.
like we have Facebook parties about, some other things. This is so important.
Yes.
If you're going to have a Facebook
This is
party,
history.
let's have a Facebook party about how people cast their votes
Yes.
to
Right.
make sure that it counts. And
Very
let's
important.
make
Let's do
that.
that.
So when that date comes,
All in.
everybody, we'll do it from every day. There should
All
be
in.
a Facebook party every day from
Yes.
April the 20, whatever it is that you
Yes.
receive your ballot,
I'm all in.
all the way up to the end.
You know what
Every
we could
day
do?
we should have a Facebook voting
What we
party.
do is, and we don't
vote
even have
no
to be
party.
together. We can bring each other in on our lives.
Mia Williams just said a watch party.
Yep.
Let's whatever you want to
Virtual
call
watch
it,
party.
whatever you want to call it, but we got to do it.
And share the video. Share the video
And
with all
repost
the
it.
people in
And
your
Ashley
friends
said with
list.
beer.
And Linda
With beer.
Linda Marie Bragg said, please remind people that this vote isn't about any one person. It's about taking your right away to be able to vote for the person who is the best for the position.
That is correct.
That's right,
You
Linda.
will have that opportunity.
So you might want to remind everybody what this referendum
Again,
is
this
about.
referendum is clearly about the power of the people of the city of Atlantic City, which we have right now. If you don't like who the people, elected people are, every 2 years you get a chance to vote them out. If this referendum passes, you will not have the opportunity. You will not have your ward council person. You will not have an opportunity to
Vote for mayor.
to demonstrate or protest about any decision that they make. You will not have the opportunity to vote for your own mayor, and all the power of those 5 people who will be elected then turn all the power over to city manager who does not have to live in Atlantic City, and almost 100%, I can guarantee you, if this thing was to pass, will not live in Atlantic City, and they will not answer to anyone other than to the people who are trying to take our power away from us.
And then lastly, they can be tenured.
After 3 years, they become tenured, and you can't get rid of them,
That's crazy.
no matter who you elect again. It's
So it's definitely not a freedom movement.
It's not.
It's not a freedom movement for the people of Atlantic City. What
Yes.
we're talking about is a freedom movement.
Well, you know,
Yes.
I like the term that he used. We have a
Political pandemic.
we have a coronavirus pandemic,
Yes.
and we have a political pandemic.
Yes.
And both of these matters are very urgent and very important. And to me, this is a challenge too for us because we come out alive, number one, right? Because we beat the coronavirus, and then we maintain our right to vote.
Right. We got
So then we become the real champions in America too, because we not only did we survive the pandemic physically, but we maintain our right to vote. And to me, our right to vote is one of the most sacred things that we have as Americans.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Yes.
How
it
much
is.
time we have, Miss Hall?
You have 4 minutes, Mr. White.
Okay,
Oh,
good,
okay.
good, we're
4
good.
minutes.
Again, we're going to reiterate.
Reiterate the process, etc. Yes.
Right. Remember, May 12th. Take your mind off of that.
Take your mind off May 12th.
Your election day is the day that you receive this in the mail. And again, we must make sure that everything is done correctly
Yes.
so that your vote counts. Because even after you receive it and you vote it and you seal it and you send it back, it still is not a vote. Understand this, everybody. This is still not a vote. It's not a vote until 3 members of the Board of Elections says it's a vote. Then your vote is good. Not until 3 people. And if there's a 2-2 tie, it goes before Judge Mendez, and he decides whether it's going to be a vote or not.
That's
So
not good.
that's why it's extremely important to make sure you update your information, update your signature, so no one, absolutely anyone, no one will be able to have any excuse or reason to not allow your vote to count in the United States of America. Because this is going to be the trend, and that is the vote by mail. So there's things that we have to do to make sure that, yes, it's a good thing to vote by mail, but we got to also make sure that the process is pure and that it can't be corrupted or tampered with by people who have other agendas who want to disenfranchise a large segment of the population to keep their vote suppressed and down. And that's what has been happening. So we
after
have to
May
make
24th,
sure.
we're going to start Facebook Live.
After April 24th.
After April
We're going
24th.
to start having our Facebook party.
Facebook
Our
ballot.
Facebook
ballot.
voting ballot parties.
Wonderful.
The watch parties.
Watch
Watch parties. Everybody
Okay.
tune in.
So everybody stay tuned.
Everybody
for
stay tuned in and listen.
that. Young
Let's-
and old,
Yes.
And we're going to be here too every
black
Monday
and white.
at 5 o'clock.
Everybody in Atlantic City, join our momentum, join our mission. We'll have phone calls the next time you can ask questions. But the show is coming to an end, and so with that, I want Mr. Calloway to take the last couple of minutes before we go to the music, and final message, sir.
Final message is again. Remember, Election Day is very personal. The artificial date of May 12th, don't worry about that. Your election day is an individual day, and that is the day that you receive this in the mail. That is your voting day. And do everything that you're supposed to do. Follow the instructions. You have any questions, we are going to be providing, as we said, voting, vote by mail parties and things of that nature. And we're also going to supply, phone numbers and email to answer and help people.
Thank you, Mr. Calloway. Thank you, Derek Brock. Thank you, Lisa Dan Hall. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, WEHA, Atlantic City in America. We'll keep you abreast.
Yes.
As soon as anything comes up, we'll
Yes.
reach out.
Yes.
You go ahead and take us away with some Sean Rock. Thank you, Atlantic City. God bless you. Stay safe out there, everybody.
88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City,
Hawks, a name that has been trusted for almost 30 years in the janitorial services industry, is